Have you seen Star Wars?
We can never have a good time in the Star Wars fandom, and for proof of that, just look at the reaction to Star Wars Eclipse, because there is now an online movement to have the game canceled because of Quantic Dream's involvement. But what's actually going on here? Let's talk about it. But before we get into all of the drama, use the Force to hit the like button and subscribe if you think Anakin should have been given the rank of Master. So what's going on here with Star Wars Eclipse, and what's the reason for this new movement called #Blackout Star Wars Eclipse, or I guess you just say Blackout Star Wars Eclipse. I don't know trends anymore. The game is being made by Quantic Dream, which is ran, and a lot of the games are written by a guy named David Cage. Now, David is controversial because when his company was being sued back in 2018, he apparently stormed off in court asking if he could lie if he was not under oath. Allegedly, David said in public that all the women in his games are whores, and the biggest thing is that he said Quantic Dream doesn't make their games for gay people, but he used a very, very hard slur with the F word. So I do want to note two things about this specific situation. The first is that the lawsuit in 2018 was from a former Quantic Dream employee who was suing the company for what they said was a toxic work environment, and the company, of course, denied it. The employee said that the company allowed toxic behavior, racist and sexist jokes, and Quantic Dream lost this case in 2018, but, big but here, it was eventually overturned in 2021 for, they were basically saying some of the arguments they made were not valid, but not everything, so there's an interesting thing to look into if you really want to. But the other side note that makes this interesting is that Quantic Dream actually sued the media outlets that said David Cage, gave those remarks about women in the games being whores and that he doesn't make his games for gay people. So to me, the important details are that these allegations are all coming from two French outlets that have never been confirmed or debunked. So all of this is alleged, and we have no proof that David Cage did or did not say these things that these French outlets reported. But given what did happen in the court hearing, I find it likely he did say some of these things, if not all of them, and it's not for me to say if he did or didn't. But with that said, I don't understand the Blackout Star Wars Eclipse movement. In today's day and age, we see countless companies targeted for certain beliefs and stances that their employees have, which I've never really understood why we need to know a company's stance on a subject or a situation. But this case is very different because this isn't a company coming out and giving a statement. This is people being upset that Lucasfilm is working with a company whose founder has had a history of sexist and homophobic remarks. If you're a woman, a gay person, or even if you're not either, but you are just a normal person in general, I understand why you would be upset about David Cage being involved with this game. I think you have every right to think that he's a piece of shit if he truly said these things. But with that said, I think the Star Wars Eclipse thing, the Blackout movement, is a bad idea and an example of bad mentality in today's society. Instead of just calling out David Cage specifically, everyone is calling out Quantic Dream and wanting them to be taken off the game entirely. I don't think this is fair because let's say Lucasfilm listens and removes the Quantic Dream from this project. A few things are going to happen. First of all, the game will likely never happen at that point, which is sad because we'd lose the opportunity to play a great-looking game, and the people who are working on it won't be able to tell their Star Wars story. But more importantly, a lot of people would more than likely lose their jobs over the game being canceled. In an attempt to cancel one man, you people would be costing a lot of people money and hardship by getting this game canceled, all the while you just sit behind your phone on Twitter feeling like you made the world a better place by canceling a company instead of just one man. Another thing that annoys me is that this is kind of like selective outrage we see in these situations. We got wary of Sam Maggs being involved in the Knights of the Old Republic remake because she is a woke SJW, and most people said reasonably that she was not going to have a lot of involvement compared to all the other people that are working on this game, which is my same stance on this Quantic Dream situation. No one likes what David Cage said, but at some point you need to separate the art from the artist. And if you don't want to support this game, then don't. It's as simple as that, but you guys are trying to cancel an entire company and an entire game based off of one man's involvement. The Star Wars project I'm looking forward to the most is called The Acolyte. The showrunner is a lady named Leslie Headland. She's a former assistant to Harvey Weinstein. Do you really expect me to believe that she didn't know about the abuse of women that Harvey did? She, like many others, knew what Harvey was doing and never said anything, yet no one is crying foul when she gets a Star Wars series. So I'm just confused why everyone is okay with Disney being a literal monopoly of a company who films Mulan in China next to Muslim concentration camps. They're okay with Leslie Headland working on a Star Wars series despite her relationship with a woman abuser. Everyone is chill with these situations where people are actually being hurt, and it truly affects the lives of people in a very negative and dramatic way. But God forbid Lucasfilm works with a company who has a fucked up founder who said fucked up shit. Allegedly. Like I said, you have every right to hate David Cage. I do not sympathize with the man at all. I do not hold anything against you if you were upset at him. Don't think I'm remotely trying to defend the guy because he deserves to be called out. But in the grand scheme of things, his words are just that. Words. They have meaning and they hurt those who they affect. But don't cost the jobs of hundreds of people based off of one man. None of you care about the evils of Disney or someone like Leslie Headland who was around a woman abuser and never said a word. But you really care about this guy that said some fucked up shit. I understand being upset at David Cage. I understand not supporting this game. I don't understand people trying to cancel it over one person's involvement. Like I said earlier, if this game is canceled based off of this movement, you will have cost a lot of innocent people their jobs, all while you sit behind your phone screen, safe from any real negative impact from this game. That is what annoys me the most, is that at the end of the day, David Cage and his statements don't actually impact any of our lives, but us trying to cancel an entire company and project will actually affect a lot of people's lives. Blame the man, not the company, please. And also, stop expecting these companies to have good morals. I've never understood this movement over the past 5 years. Star Wars is owned by one of the greediest and biggest monopolies of our culture. None of you care about it when it actually affects the real world and lives of people, but when someone says something evil, you gotta ruin the lives of countless people just to get to that one person. The ends justify the means no matter what to these people. So maybe I'm wrong. Honestly, maybe I'm wrong about this and Quantic Dream deserves to be canceled. If I am wrong, please tell me why below in the comment section, and I apologize if I'm coming off unsympathetic in this video. I just feel like we're going about this situation in the wrong way, and I feel like we're picking and choosing our battles on situations like this that don't really need to be a big battle. So if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed my take, please leave a like. If you disagree, leave a dislike. Comment your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to stay up to date on the latest news in Star Wars. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you, always.